Today, Orthodox churches are a ubiquitous symbol of the Russian Federation, present in nearly every touristic or cultural depiction of the country. But as an institution, the Russian Orthodox Church plays a complex role in Russia's contemporary political and cultural landscape. Orthodox Christianity, by far the most common religious affiliation in Russia, is one of 4 religions considered to be traditional by Russian law. While nominally separate from the state, the Russian Orthodox Church cooperates closely with the government, receiving significant economic privileges in exchange for playing a preeminent role in the Kremlin's symbolic politics. According to a 2017 Pew Research survey, while 71% of Russians identified themselves as Orthodox Christians, only 7% indicated that they attend weekly church services. Evidently, Orthodox Christianity plays an important role in contemporary Russian identity beyond serving strictly as a religious faith. In this video, we unpack the interactions between the Russian Orthodox Church and the state, and explore how it has emerged as a key player in contemporary Russian politics. The Russian Orthodox Church is one of the world's 16 national Orthodox churches, each hierarchically structured with its own patriarch serving as the highest-ranking authority. Although each church is fully sovereign and self-governed, their respective believers are permitted to pray together and to participate in each other's sacraments. For centuries, the Russian Orthodox Church was dependent upon the ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople, the so-called first among equals, regarded as the spiritual leader of Orthodox Christians worldwide. In the 16th century, however, the Russian Orthodox Church gained the right to elect its own patriarch and became a formally sovereign institution. In the 18th century, Tsar Peter the Great effectively subordinated the church to the Russian imperial government when he replaced the church patriarchate with a special institution called the Holy Synod, which was ruled by government-appointed bureaucrats rather than church clergymen. Following the February Revolution of 1917, which overthrew the Russian imperial government and resulted in the establishment of a short-lived Russian republic, the church patriarchate was restored. But a host of new challenges emerged for the church that same year after the Bolshevik Party seized power during the October Revolution. Militant atheism was fundamental to the new Soviet state's official ideology, and the Russian Orthodox Church became the target of numerous state-sponsored campaigns to execute religious leaders and destroy religious institutions in the years that followed. Amidst the turbulence of the early 20th century, the Russian Orthodox Church splintered along 3 key political lines.
Essentially, after the Bolshevik Revolution, the Russian Church, which was the largest Orthodox Church in the world at the time, was divided along those 3 lines. There was a torrent of immigration which were still monarchical. They wanted the restoration of monarchy in Russia, and they were backed by church hierarchs. And that political torrent, in alliance with the church hierarchs, established their own jurisdiction, which became known as the ROKOR, Russian Church Outside Russia, which is still important in the United States. Then there was a church which aligned with the Republican ideals and continued to carry on, the agenda of the short-lived Russian Republic. Originally, it was in communion with the Moscow Patriarchate, but they were sort of kicked out by the Moscow Patriarchate as traitors, and eventually went under the jurisdiction of the Ecumenical Patriarchate in the 1930s. They still have headquarters in Paris. This is essentially a very kind of westernized, modernized, open-minded jurisdiction. And the third and the largest jurisdiction, it stayed in the Soviet Russia. It aligned with the Soviet regime, with the leftist Bolshevik party. It does not necessarily mean that this church aligned with the ideology, leftist ideology, but it certainly did not object. Eventually, many hierarchs in the church adopted, the Soviet ideology, and the church was infiltrated, of course, by the Soviet agents, including people among the bishops.
Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Russian Orthodox Church has strengthened its ideological power, rebuilt destroyed churches, constructed new churches, and gained the support of influential state officials, politicians, and businessmen. A highly conservative organization, the contemporary Russian Orthodox Church operates according to an old calendar, conducts services in a language called Church Slavonic, requires priests to be male, and has taken a conservative stance on a range of social and political issues. Despite doctrine which requires top clergy to take vows and reject worldly concerns, most bishops in the Russian Orthodox Church are fairly wealthy. In 2015, Russian reporters Ivan Golunov and Svetlana Rater investigated the church's business investments and sponsors, detailing several highly opaque financial schemes. But these revelations did not affect the church's standing. The Russian Orthodox Church is engaged in a mutually beneficial relationship with the Russian state. For its part, the Church serves as an important pillar of Russian statehood. It renders valuable services to the state as a foreign policy actor and supports the state in its efforts to reassert Russia's status as a great global power. Its most important contribution was its 2007 Act of Canonical Communion of the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia, or ROKOR, with the Russian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarchate. This act enabled the Russian state to exert control over ROKOR parishes located in both Europe and the United States. The Russian Orthodox Church has also consolidated its positions in the Middle East, reclaimed several Christian church buildings in Israel, and protected Orthodox Christian communities in Assad-controlled territories of Syria. Domestically, the Church plays a key role as a memory actor, asserting itself as the primary mourner of victims of Stalinism, and thereby sidelining other memory actors deemed unwelcome by the government. In return, the government is responsive to the Russian Orthodox Church's requests for additional funding and expansion of its property holdings. Numerous legal acts have aimed to consolidate the Church's influence on society, including through stemming competition from other denominations and prosecuting individuals for insulting religious feelings. In 2014, the international stature of the Russian Orthodox Church suffered a serious blow in the aftermath of the Russian annexation of Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula. The sharp rise in anti-Russian sentiment that spread across Ukraine following the annexation led some Orthodox parishes to defect from the Russian Orthodox Church in order to join the de facto independent Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Constrained by his loyalty to the Kremlin, the Russian Orthodox Church Patriarch Kirill Gundyayev was unable to denounce the annexation or stop the defections. In 2019, after years of vigorous campaigning, the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople granted autocephaly to the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, thereby formalizing its independent status from the Russian Orthodox Church. This in turn encouraged even more parishes to defect from the Russian Orthodox Church. So far, only 4 of the world's autocephalous Orthodox churches, those of Constantinople, Alexandria, Greece, and Cyprus, have recognized the independence of the Ukrainian Church. Nonetheless, the formal independence of the Ukrainian Church was a major defeat for the Moscow Patriarchate. After trying and failing to prevent this development, the Russian Orthodox Church responded by severing ties with the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, thereby creating a grave schism within the Orthodox world. The Russian Orthodox Church plays a symbolic and political role in Russia as an important ally of the state. Many Russians hold the Church in high regard as a respected institution alongside the armed forces, the FSB, and the president. However, its spiritual authority is relatively weak. Few Russians look to the Church for moral guidance, and the number of churchgoers remains very low. Most Russians are opposed to religious education in schools. and the Church's stubborn conservatism makes it especially unpopular among young Russians, who are increasingly identifying themselves as atheists.